Hello and welcome to the Falcon Feature. I'm Ryan Hood.
And I'm Hannah Lee.
Today we have 4 feature stories from our community.
We're opening with a segment on Kids with a Conscience, a project developed by Rain Quintana to establish community gardens in a low-income housing development.
Next we'll meet her son, Dino Cabrera, a local artist on the rise in the Bay Area.
Then we'll take a local safari to a foods program at Mount Diablo High School. They have a garden and culinary arts program that is leading the nation in food and local agricultural awareness.
Finally, we'll take a journey to Briones Regional Park, where we will join our friends at the Nature Scoop for a fascinating segment on the history and wildlife of the park.
So let's start with Rain's community garden and her program, Kids with a Conscience. Rain is a mother of 5 and on her way to becoming a licensed nutritionist.
Her goal is to create a more peaceful community and teach kids about gardening and healthy eating.
I definitely like to say the story starts with my children and with them having this need for food that was going to be beneficial to them. My son Diego was 9, who's now 14, and at 9 years old he had 2 strokes and he had to see a neurosurgeon. And through that experience, it became clear to me that I wanted to make sure that I was giving my son not only foods that were good for his neurosystem, but foods that weren't going to be contaminated. So that's why it was so important for me to start to grow my own food, and seeing the need for everybody to have their own food, not just me, since we're all biologically built the same. It was important for not just my family to have access to good, healthy food, but also the people that were playing with my children, my neighbors, and then the rest of the community. We moved we had our own home at the time, but from there we moved into an apartment complex where there was no access to ground. I noticed that there was a lot of trash. The dumpsters were overfilling with trash, and there was a lot of dead grass and a lot of children, and realizing that there was a lot of potential for something other than the trash and the children and the dead grass, I started to form this organization. It really started with a free lunch program that I hosted during the summer when the kids would come and get their free lunches. And I also noticed that the lunches weren't offering the best quality meals.
I just think it's something natural to have a garden, and when we're cut off from that, then it's when all there is just the McDonald's and stuff like that.
We started to teach the kids about nutrition and health, and then also how to properly recycle their plastic bags in the container that the lunches were coming in.
It's building the community, and it's helping teach good values and give kids opportunities to get hands-on in the garden and learn important life lessons about how to nurture ourselves and support each other's health. So I wanted to come out and help, and I have had some time here and there and have been able to get involved, but I'd love to be more involved, and it's just a great thing going here, and I feel like it's a model for the larger world to learn from these days. We have important things happening and need to take a stand and each have our individual responsibility for the choices we make with our food and our earth.
We also are in collaboration with West County Reads and Girls Incorporated, and they come in and teach our children reading. They actually sit with our children and read books with them, and they also offer tons of books, and they've given us a whole library full of books to help us interact with the kids and to help teach them. At first it was harder for people to be involved with the garden because they couldn't really see the vision. But once people started to see stuff actually grow, and they seen that the kids were actually helping take care of the plants, and they weren't going to just tear it all down. And then you actually had people contributing even more. I had a grandmother bring lamps, little solar lamps, and put them in the garden. I've dealt with some really fierce kids at the beginning. There was a lot of cussing. There was a lot of, just not really understanding the effects of trash, throwing their trash on the ground. So you saw a lot of trash.
I think just having that interaction with nature and helping take care of nature and seeing that we're all a part of nature makes people gentler.
The whole community has been helping with the work. I mean, the kids have done a lot of the physical work, but I would say even the grandmothers and the parents, the mothers and even the fathers have influenced the kids by talking to them and encouraging them and also telling them to respect the garden and to pick up their trash and all that stuff. And that really makes a big difference to have their support. You know, I think one of the biggest things for people to realize is that you can have a garden anywhere. A lot of people don't realize that you could have a small container garden on your balcony if you're in an apartment, you know, wherever. It doesn't matter where you live, you can have a garden. I don't know, it's hard for me to understand why anybody would think that they can't have a garden, I guess, since I'm so determined to have my own garden anywhere I'm at, and I always kind of have, like I said, even on my balcony, we started this community garden. So I just believe that anybody can have a garden, no matter who you are or where you're at.
What an inspiring cause. I think we can all learn from Rain's initiative in creating a positive impact and improving health in her community.
I totally agree. Next up, let's introduce Rain's son, Dino the artist. Dino and his colleagues have worked to create a thriving community in the Bay Area where young artists can showcase their work.
Hey, I'm Dino. I'm an artist. I do graphic design on the side. I throw fashion shows, music shows, art shows. I've always been into art since I was young. I've been painting. I started developing my art and actually considering myself an artist around 19 when I seen that people wanted my paintings and I started trading paintings. Then eventually that got too expensive, so I started selling paintings and it just grew from there. I think my biggest accomplishment to date would be my solo art show. It was me, Alan Diosana, which is a local sculptor from Martinez, California, and we had DJ Hype Chilliams alongside with us. I had about 20 paintings and a few sculptures in the art show. It was based off of social injustices, and Alan Diosana, his work was based off of dreams. We had to book a venue, we had to find the right venue, we had to build pedestals to put the sculptures on, we had to hang the art, we had printed flyers, put flyers everywhere. That's one of the biggest part of promotion. If we didn't do that, then I don't think we would have got as many people as we did in there. And we seen probably, I would say throughout the whole night, about 100 people. So there's inspiration everywhere around that I see. Working in graphic design and making signs, I kind of get inspired by even little things such as like the signs that you follow to get off the freeway. You know, there's just inspiration everywhere. You just have to look at the details. If you pay attention to the little details, it can inspire you some way or another. On May 20th, we have a fashion show. All local designers, the whole team is local. We have videographers, we have photographers, people doing hair and makeup, the designers, the set designers. So that's going to be a really fun and cool experience, something new. It's actually the first time that a fashion show will be done in Martinez. So that's kind of exciting. So I feel like now it's kind of my opportunity to jump on board and make that vision come true. And then after that, November, I plan to have another art show. So that I want to try to make yearly. And that might be in Oakland or Martinez. Details are still being planned. Thank you, Falcon Feature, for having me. It was great being here. Until next time.
Hannah, are you going to one of his upcoming shows?
Absolutely. I totally missed the last show, and I'm excited to see another one.
Next on the Falcon Feature, we have a segment from the hydroponic garden at Mount Diablo High School. Here, students learn sustainable organic gardening and the value of proper nutrition.
Hey, my name is Kamal Mixon, and I'm here with Daniel at Mount Diablo High School. So can you explain where we are, Daniel?
So right now we're in the classroom at Mount Diablo High School. I'm actually a former student of Cindy Gershon. I graduated in 2014, and I've been here since to basically maintain the tower gardens and teach the students how to use it.
And what exactly is hydroponic?
Hydroponic is basically, the towers are basically grown without using soil, so it's alternative. So we use minerals and things like that instead of dirt.
Well, what we have here is rock wall, which is kind of a fiberglass material we plant the seeds in. So what I'm doing now is taking the nutrients that have been mixed in here that feed through into the tower, and we're soaking the rock wall, and then the students will put in, today we'll be planting Swiss chard, and Bib lettuce. So as soon as we get this soaked, then they're going to take it over and they're going to plant the seeds.
It's a timer on the water, so we wouldn't be able to turn it on right now. So basically the water just shoots up from the bottom and it drizzles down, and that's how the soil gets its water.
So right here we have two different kinds of lighting. We've got your regular LEDs. This right here is called boracics. They're the greens. These are all things that don't need full spectrum light. They can just use LEDs. If you look up here, you'll see that we have a full spectrum. It's got your reds and your blues. If you want to grow anything with a flower or a bud, then you need to have full spectrum. Things like zucchini and bell peppers and tomatoes and flowers, they need full spectrum. So we could actually grow it on this tower because of that light there. Everything else on the white, LED will grow all of your boracics.
And what do you guys do this for? What is this going to be used?
Well, it's a lot of things. I mean, we grow it and we actually serve it to our students here. They eat this, the students harvest it, they clean it, and they take it to the kitchen and they cook it, make all kind of salad. And you can grow all type of things on here: tomatoes, beets, lettuce, you know, what have you, and it's pretty easy. I went to school in Richmond High, and I moved out here my junior year. And at that time, I was 400 pounds. I was in PE, and my PE teacher weighed me. And at that time, like, I felt just disgusted with myself. Like, how did I let myself get this far? And I moved out here with Chef Cindy, and she was my teacher. I was in her class, and her program just changed my life. I lost 150 pounds due to this program. Eating what she served, what she taught me, I took heed and I kept it in. And you know, it's not, you don't get this every day. And a lot of schools don't have this, and to have it, you know, you have to take advantage of it. And that's what I did. And now, I mean, I'm way better. I feel better. I'm playing football. I go to college. I'm going to play football in college because of that. Before, I couldn't play because I got tired just running one lap. You know, I couldn't do anything. And now I feel like I can do a lot. I can do everything. You know, I'm unstoppable. You know, and I appreciate this program. So that's why I'm here, and I'm giving back. So I feel like I deserve to do this. You know, this is my calling, to give back to the children and teach them what I was taught, you know, and hopefully go to school for it and change a lot of people's lives after.
From an innovative school garden to a local nature preserve, we have a segment from our series The Nature Scoop. 3 CPTV students explore the various regional parks in the Bay Area. Today we'll be at Brioni's Regional Park, and we'll even meet some newts.
Meet some newts? Wait, I love newts.
Let's go take a look.
Hi, I'm Gabe Tanlin, and we're here at Brioni's Regional Park, a range of hills and valleys located in the East Bay. Today on the show, we're going to be taking a closer look at some of the amazing natural features of this park and meeting one of its most unique inhabitants.
Brioni's Regional Park is 6,225 acres and is home to several species of birds and animals which forage on the grasslands or find shelter among the oaks and bays. Becoming a regional park in 1967, this land was originally a rancho, owned by the Brioni's family, which was later sold to the People's Water Company in 1909. Brioni's has a vast network of trails and paths, with the peaks offering a large panoramic view of Mount Diablo to the east, the Carquinez Strait to the north, and the Berkeley Hills to the west.
Now we're going to take a look at one of Brioni's famous creek beds.
The several creek beds in Brioni's are formed by the seasonal winter rains flowing downhill. The smaller creeks follow ancient geological paths coming together to form the larger Alhambra Creek bed.
We're here at Alhambra Creek, one of the several natural creek beds in Brioni's Regional Park. This creek is a key part of the park's ecosystem, and it's said that this is the final resting place of local hero and famous naturalist John Muir. It is also just up this creek that we will find our first guest on today's show. Let's find out. We're here at the Briones Ponds, and it is within the murky depths of these ponds that we'll find our guest on today's show, Pterycha turosa, or the California newt.
Hidden within the deep ponds of Briones Regional Park, there lives an extraordinary species of amphibian, Pterycha turosa, or better known as the California newt. Being the largest salamander species on the west coast, California newts are amphibious and spend most of their lives underwater. Varying from 2 to 3.5 inches in length, the females are generally smaller, with thinner tails and brighter orange stomachs, while the males are quite a bit larger, with a paler color scheme. The orange and brown skin of the newts secretes the deadly neurotoxin tetrodotoxin, and through the implementation of this toxin, the California newt has few natural predators. Feeding on a variety of invertebrates, the newts scour the bottom of lakes and ponds for worms or amphibian larvae. When mating, the male newt mounts the female to reproduce, but sometimes several males fight for a single mate and form a gridlocked ball of hormonal amphibian matrimony.
After mating, the female leaves the pond to find a place to lay her eggs. Here we have an egg sac.
Female newts will lay 1 to 3 egg sacs in a day, with each egg sac containing as many as 47 larvae. After being laid, the eggs will hatch in 15 to 50 days. Until then, they are protected by a highly toxic embryo that most predators will avoid. Overall, the Briones ecosystem is a beautiful and highly complex. This extensive patch of rolling hills and forest is a great place to explore, and we encourage you to come and visit this Bay Area park.
Thank you for joining us on the Nature Scoop. We hope you enjoyed our show, and we can't wait to see you next time.
We're so lucky to live close to such an amazing park.
Yeah, I go on hikes there all the time. I love it there.
That's our show for today, Falcons.
For more of our content, visit cptvweb.org. Thanks for watching.